Greetings, I'm your host, Dr. Wolfula, with another entry of Wolfula News. I'm currently working on my Saw review, but something has come up that requires my attention. In this entry, well, I'm talking about the teaser trailer for Scoob, the third theatrical Scooby-Doo film, and the first theatrical animated movie in the franchise. Also the first CGI Scooby movie, if you don't count those fucking Lego ones. I sure do. This flick has long been in development since 2014 at least, and based on what I heard about the movie's premise back then, it just seems like something that stays in development hell and never comes out, but it's coming out next year, 6 years later, to my surprise. I'm gonna start with the positive. Visually, this is a nice looking, expressive animated movie that'll surely be fun to look at. Stylistically though, the designs make it look a little too much like a Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs flick. It has that sort of sameness all non-Pixar CGI flicks run into these days with the look, but they did nail the look of a modern Shaggy and Scooby, I have to admit. My main gripe with the look of Scoob is how I feel about a lot of recent Scooby-Doo stuff. The color palette is just a little too warm and colorful to my liking. If you watch the original series, the gang was the only colorful thing. Everything else had a nice, spooky, cold color scheme that I miss, and was hoping would return with this new flick, but it seems like the original show's look will only be given lip service in a few places. It's kinda weird too how the Mystery Machine is a faithful version of the original shows, but with a bunch of clunky equipment on the roof. I don't know, I feel like that's just unnecessary. The teaser itself opens with Shaggy and Scooby in a movie theater because after 100 direct-to-video Scooby films, they need to make it clear you gotta go to a theater to see this new one. This sequence gives a glimpse of what will likely be Dick Dastardly's flying fortress. It looks like his car from Wacky Races, just as a giant rocket. And yeah, even though this teaser doesn't get into it, Dick Dastardly is the villain of this Scooby-Doo movie. Scoob seems like it's gonna really be a backdoor Hanna-Barbera crossover film, which includes Captain Caveman, played by Tracy Morgan. Alright, okay. The sequence also shows a couple Easter eggs I enjoy. Of course, there's Peebles' Pet Shop from Magilla Gorilla, which might hint at Magilla appearing, or it might just be there for fun. But next to it is the bowling alley the gang is at named Takamoto, which is a tribute to Iwao Takamoto, the original designer of Scooby-Doo. It's nice to see the man get some more recognition after all he's done for the series. I've talked about some positives, but I'm gonna have to talk about the stuff I'm not so into about the teaser. Now, keep in mind, this is a teaser, the movie's not out yet, and this definitely isn't a review. Just my early impressions, and I don't like the voices of the human characters so far. Scooby is played by Frank Welker once more, who has been with the franchise since the original show. Welker played every young adult cartoon incarnation of Fred, and took over for Scooby's voice in the 2000s. His Scooby voice is great, and is welcome in this new film.
Maybe it's time we made a new movie.
The human cast is disappointing to me though. Mostly Will Forte as Shaggy.
Good idea, Scoob, but first we need a trailer.
I know he can do a better Shaggy voice than that. It sounds like he's not even trying. It just sounds like a regular guy with a slight rasp to his voice. They replaced Matthew Lillard for this?
Did you say IKEA?
Honestly, Will Forte's speaking voice sounds closer to Shaggy than the Shaggy voice he's doing in this teaser. It seems like the makers of this movie intentionally wanted to tone down and sanitize Shaggy so he wouldn't seem like a dirty, dog food eating fucking hippie or something, and try to avoid the drug references the character attracts. The performance is just very underwhelming, and this extends to Velma, Daphne, and Fred as well, played by celebrity non-voice actors. They just lack the personalities of the characters and sound so ordinary. Even in the live-action movies, Matthew Lillard and Linda Cardellini made efforts to sound like their characters. Gina Rodriguez just sounds like, Gina Rodriguez.
This can lead us to Scooby and Shaggy.
The new voices just sound so bland to me. I don't know why studios insist on getting celebrities to voice in animated movies instead of voice actors. It's just a spit in the face to people who make voice acting their trade. It's a cartoon. You can't actually see Zac Efron. Nobody's gonna give a shit if he's in the movie. They're gonna give more of a shit if the characters actually sound like the characters. Why is Zac Efron Fred anyway? Why does Hollywood keep trying to make Zac Efron happen? He's not gonna happen. It's not the mid-2000s anymore. Zac Efron is only heard briefly in the teaser, and it feels like the animation has to do double duty to try to sell his performance.
Whoa. Shaggy and Scooby were taken?
For whatever reason, Scoob also has a prequel element to it that that's incredibly unnecessary, explaining how Shag and Scoob met as kids a la pup named Scooby-Doo, and how the gang formed, which has been done so many times. I think it's meant to make us empathize with Shaggy's and Scooby's relationship in the movie, but it's just a little too syrupy sweet. Shaggy giving Scooby his collar feels a bit too much like a dude giving his girlfriend some jewelry. Creepy. You don't need to make such a big deal out of this gesture, and for some reason, the movie feels the need to do the ultimate pointless prequel thing by explaining where Scooby's name came from. It came from the actual Scooby snacks, which appear to be Nilla wafers in this movie. I guess they don't want kids following Shaggy's example eating dog food. Besides the prequel stuff where the gang meet trick-or-treating, you don't get much of an idea about the actual story in this teaser. It's a teaser after all, but I'm gonna take a guess that Shag and Scoob get chased by Dick Dastardly's robots, and they get saved by their childhood hero Blue Falcon and Dynamite, who Shag has picks up all over his room as a kid, and who the duo dress up as for Halloween. Blue Falcon and Dynamite themselves will be played by, Mark Wahlberg and Ken Jeong, respectively. Oh boy. It's not clear yet if the Scooby-Doo characters will be crossing over into actual other dimensions, or if it's just a shared Hanna-Barbera universe, but are they also going to touch on Daphne's dad being an abusive drunk? Because it's a strange thing to drop in a kids movie teaser, no?
Trace amounts of mustache oil, 12-year-old scotch.
Ugh. Is the bad guy my dad?
Overall, as a longtime fan, I have very mixed feelings so far about Scoob, but this is for kids at the end of the day, and I'm sure they're gonna love it, and I'm sure the movie will be entertaining as well. Still, I kinda wish they went for a more classic-style Scooby-Doo mystery approach, but on a bigger scale as a theatrical animated movie. It feels like this movie is trying to combine Scooby with the popular trends of superhero movies and animated films with different universes crossing over, a la Lords and Miller's Lego Movie and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Those were great movies, don't get me wrong, but not every animated adaptation now needs to be like them. Well, Scoob will come out May 15th, 2020, so we'll see how it turns out finally then. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the film yourselves. If you liked this video, like it, but if you loved it, subscribe for more and click the bell icon to keep track of future uploads and streams. Follow me on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dr. Wolfula. Hang out with a virtual me on the Popbase app, available for free on iOS and Android today. You can ask me questions, hear updates, decorate my mini Wolfula as you see fit, collect exclusive pics and wallpapers, play mini games, take horror trivia quizzes, and watch some vids with my avatar. Also, consider purchasing one of my shirts on TeePublic. I got a lot of designs to choose from and more on the way. Finally, if you can, support the channel by pledging to my Patreon, where you can get a VIP invite to my Discord, the Wolfula, early access to reviews, get channel updates, join private movie streams, get full video commentaries, including my new Bloody Murder 2 commentary, and get special thanks shoutouts at the end of all of my vids and streams. Speaking of which, I'd like to thank my true Wolfulite supporters on Patreon. The channel would be nothing without their continued support, and it's greatly appreciated. Thanks again to all of you. I've been your host, Dr. Wolfula, signing out. See you all next time.